because engineers are good in mastering the systems. So examinations are a routine exercise what you see in engineering colleges. So you need not have to waste so much of time on the examinations. At the same time, you have so much of time so that to prepare yourself as a leader. So my request to all the youngsters who are here is, there is ample time available to you, whether you are a student or you are working somewhere. So utilize this time properly to bring out the leader in you. Each one of us has a great leader in us, but only few of us identify, then only they are becoming the leaders and they are leading the world. Each one of us has the potential. So with that note, today the topic given to me is how to be a resilient leader amidst crisis. Because we get crisis and we fight crisis and we find crisis every day. The recent match which we have seen between Gujarat the Titans and the Chennai Super Kings was also a great crisis. It was a great crisis. How Dhoni behaved and how Hardik Pandya behaved, that shows you the difference in leadership. Mahendra Singh Dhoni is a cool captain. And also if you see the team of CSK, there are not many big names in it. But still he could take it to the finals and he could win the finals. The last over was very, very important. I think Mohit Sharma was bowling and the team needed 13 runs. In the first 3 or I think 4 balls he conceded only 3 runs. So the last 2 balls CSK wanted 10 runs. So what Hardik Pandya did, he called Mohit Sharma, he told him something and he gave him a drink also, juice. That disturbed his rhythm. That disturbed his rhythm, and the next 2 balls, Ravindra Jadeja could score a 6 and a 4. So the leadership at the crisis time is very, very important in each and every field of us that we need to take into consideration. What Mr. Dhoni was doing, he was simply sitting and praying. He did not show any emotions in his face. So finally CSK won. So there are so many examples we can always quote. So a leader always finds his potential when he faces a crisis. So my question to you is, suppose if there is no crisis at all, if the leader ensures that there is no crisis at all, many of the people think that he is not a leader. But I always prefer a leader is one who anticipates future, who anticipates some things, and he ensures that there is no crisis. Then he is a real leader according to me, because I worked in the Indian Police Service. I was a police officer. In our parlance also, many of the times people talk about how they handled the communal riots. How when a communal riot broke out, how a leader handled it. But I always used to say that appreciate a police officer who ensured that there was no communal riot when he was at the helm of affairs. So that is, prevention is very, very important. So avoid crises. So for that you need to have a vision. You need to have the eyes and ears towards the society. If you know what is happening in the society, what the people are talking, how the situations are brewing up, definitely as a leader you can take up some definitive steps and you can ensure that there is no crisis at all. But even after taking so many precautions, still you have to find a crisis situation, because everything is not in your hands. There are so many external factors which are going to help. I will tell you one of the incidences that happened when I was working in a place called Nanded in Maharashtra. There was a desecration of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar statue in Mumbai way back in 1997. Communal riots broke out in Maharashtra. So then there was a big crowd gathered, about 5,000 people, and who are very furious because there was an incident of firing that has happened. Some person has fired and a boy got injured, and the whole 5,000 people, they were up against and they were having sticks and they were so hesitant. They are hesitating and they were about to strike, or they are about to damage the houses of another community people who are there. I was taking rounds and I reached the place. I could see 5,000 people standing in front of me shouting slogans, and they were asking about the health of that boy. How is that boy? I told them the boy is good, he is safe. I have ensured that he gets a proper treatment from the hospitals. But generally, when you have such a big mob, people don't listen. Then they started asking me. I told them, why don't you go and sit in your houses? We are here to take care. I want to discuss something with you. They said, sir, you come. Then I said, I started walking with my police force. But they said, sir, you should come alone. We won't allow your team along with you because we have confidence in you to come alone. So that is a crisis situation for me. All my subordinates were telling me, sir, don't go. Because it was almost 9 o'clock in the evening. Some of the people were drunk and they were pent up emotions. Then that is the situation I was. So there were two chances for me. One is not to go, and the other one is take my people along with me, and if there is anything goes wrong, then my people will take care. The third option is go alone. So these are the three options available to me in that crisis. So I need to take a decision. So it took almost 1 minute for me. I told my people, don't worry, I'll go alone. Because those people were asking. As a leader, I am supposed to meet them and I am supposed to tell them the real thing that has happened. I told them, if they go there and if you see a commotion, then you come and let us together handle the situation. So I walked almost about 200 meters and I was surrounded by these 5,000 people. Then I told them, the boy is safe, he is in my hands, don't worry. It is my responsibility as the superintendent of police to see that the boy is safe and nothing happens to him. Then all those people listened. And within 5 minutes I could convince them and the whole situation was brought to normal. So that was the crisis situation. So in a crisis situation, what you need is confidence in yourself. Confidence in yourself and the communication with the people. These two are very, very important. So I had the confidence and I am very confident that with my communication I can convince the people. So this is one situation which I wanted to tell you. So if you want to handle a crisis situation as a leader, have confidence in yourself. So there is a concept called fight or flight. So you fight the situation or leave the situation or run away from the situation. So as a leader who is handling a crisis, you need to understand your capability and also you need to have the confidence in you and also you should be confident about the communication and you should know what type of people with whom you are communicating. So this is one lesson which I learned while handling a crisis. The another situation I will tell you. I was working here in the Central Bureau of Investigation. We were handling some of the few important cases and most of the time I used to spend my time in the court. So in which we arrested one of a very important and a very influential person and we had placed him before the judge. The arguments were going on. We completed our arguments and the other side also completed their arguments. Then this advocate who came from Delhi, he started requesting the judge, sir, I want to tell a story. Then the judge allowed, okay, go ahead, during the arguments. Then the man started telling, sir, there was a flight, it was the rainy season and the flight was going and there was a lot of turbulence. So most of the passengers, most of the travelers who were there in the flight, they were so frightened with the turbulence and they started screaming and they started shouting. But a small little girl who was of 6 years old, she was sitting in the seat and she was coolly playing with her toys. After half an hour, the turbulence got over and all the passengers, all the travelers, they felt comfort and they started discussing among themselves. We grown-up people and who had traveled so many times in the flights, We were so worried about the turbulence, but this little girl of 6-year-old, she was not worried at all. She was playing with her toys. So all of them went and asked the girl, how come you were not afraid? Then the girl said, the pilot of this flight is my father. My dad is the pilot. I know how good he is as a pilot. I have so much of confidence in him. So the advocate said, my lord, we also have so much of confidence in you. Then I was sitting and my public prosecutor came and told, sir, we argued it very well, but this story can make a difference. It may influence the judge. Then I asked my public prosecutors, can you tell a story? But he said, sir, I don't know any story. Then I stood up and requested the judge, sir, I know in a court hall, only the advocates have to supposed to put forth their opinions. But stories anybody can tell. So telling stories is not part of arguments, but having allowed the storytelling by the other side, you should allow us also to tell a story. The judge said, okay. So instead of my public prosecutor, the joint director CBI will tell the story. He said, go ahead. Then I started narrating this story in the court hall. There was a village in Rajasthan. Rajasthan, you all know, there is a lot of drought situations there. There was no rain for the past 3 years there. One day, all the villagers, they decide, tomorrow morning, let us assemble in front of the temple and let us pray the God for the rains. Then all the people in the village, next morning, they assembled in front of the temple. But one boy, he gets an umbrella. All of them started asking, we don't have rains in our village, but still you got this umbrella? But the boy said, so many of us praying the God, definitely He is going to give us rain. So protect myself from the rain, I have brought this umbrella because I have so much of faith in the God. He said, I have so much of faith in the God. I said, my Lord, we also have so much of faith in you. So then, we won the match. We won the match. So, why I have given you this example is that was a crisis situation for me. Because that's a very, very important case and the reputation of CBI is involved. I said, as a leader, now I should step in. So whenever there is a crisis, even though it is not your cup of tea, you should be able to get onto the stage, or you should be able to get onto the ground, and you should fight on behalf of your men. This is another quality of a leader while handling a crisis. Because most of the people, what they say is that is not, because I don't know law, I don't know the thing, only the advocates or the public prosecutors have to put forth their opinions. But I said no, because this is a crisis and the reputation of the organization is involved, so I need to step in. So as a leader, as a resilient leader amidst crisis, you should you should be able to handle any situation, and you should be able to pick up what is happening. Your uptake has to be very, very fast. As a leader in the crisis, your uptake has to be very fast. What is happening in the field, you should be able to know, and how best you can win over the situation, that you need to know. So this is one of the important things. So the final thing, I give you a small example. Again, let us go back to the cricket. Because crime, cricket and cinema are the three things which are very, very liked by many people. Three C's I keep telling. That's why if you see the televisions also, these are the three things they mostly handle: the crime, cinema and the cricket. So again, let us get back to the cricket. It was somewhere long back, I don't remember the year, but there was to be a drink which is going to be officially selected for the ICC, International Cricket. So there was a tough fight between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Then finally they decide Coca-Cola as the official drink for the World Cup matches. So then the leaders in the Pepsi, they were in a crisis. So they were discussing, now Coca-Cola has become the official drink, how Pepsi is going to handle. So like this, people have gathered and the opinion of various people have been taken. and finally they came out with a beautiful slogan. They said, Pepsi, nothing official about it. Pepsi, nothing official about it. So Coca-Cola is official about it. Pepsi, nothing official about it. And finally, the Pepsi sales were more than Coca-Cola sales on that particular year. So as a leader who has taken this decision in a crisis, what he did is, he collected opinion from all his people. Then, finally a solution has been found out, and finally they came out there with the tagline, Pepsi, nothing official about it. So again, as a resilient leader in a crisis situation, don't be a loner. Have your people, because you have so many thinking brains with you. So take their opinion and final solution will come out. So this is what is the resilient leader. So as I said, you have a confidence in yourself and also have confidence in your communication. The second one is your uptake should be very fast, and finally take a collective opinion and come out to deal with a crisis. Thank you very much.